I'm Beth Weiss, and I'm an occupational therapist and a certified hand therapist. And I see many new moms in my office with hand injuries because they don't learn how to use their hands correctly right after the baby is born. So it's very important from the very beginning, even before the baby is born, to understand how you can take care of your baby as well as yourself so that you're not straining your hand, your elbow, your shoulder, or your neck. And there's very important positions that you need to remember. One is your hands need to be in a neutral position or a palm up position as you're taking care of your baby, where your elbows are relaxed by your side and you're not overextending your thumbs. The position that you do not want to be in is where your elbow is out and your hand is dropped and then trying to grab, whether it's the baby or any other equipment that you're using. So you want to be mindful of where your arms are at all times so that you're not straining your joints. So we're going to be going over many activities that you do when you take care of your baby, and we're just going to show you the do's and the don'ts of how to take care of your baby, whether it's breastfeeding or changing the diaper or many other activities. So let's get started. Oh, it must be time to feed the baby. If you have a husband around, you can have the husband get your baby and you can set yourself up in bed getting ready to feed your baby. Or if you are by yourself, then you can rearrange your pillows and then go get your baby once you finish resetting up your bed to get ready. So we want to set up our bed when we're going to breastfeed our baby, especially middle of the night, so that you have good posture while you're breastfeeding the baby. You want a couple of pillows for your back. You want something for underneath your knees, like something like this. And then once you set up, you want an extra pillow for the baby to be sitting on while you're breastfeeding. So you can have your husband go get your baby, maybe change the diaper, and have him bring the baby to your setup. If you don't have anybody to get you the baby, just set up your pillows and get it ready and then go get your baby. So now you're going to go pick up your baby out of the crib or the bassinet, and you want to make sure that you're positioning your body in the correct position so that you're not going to be in an awkward position for your arm, which when your arm is out like this and hanging, as you're grabbing, that's very awkward for your arm. You want to get underneath the baby with that underhanded positioning. If you have your left foot forward on the left side of the crib, you're going to be more diagonal to the baby and it'll be easier on your arms. If your feet are together and you're reaching for the baby, that's when you're going to be in that awkward position, as well as it being bad for your back. So the right side would be the right foot, the left side would be the left foot. What we want to avoid is this position when we're lifting up our baby. But what we do want to do is position our body correctly with that one foot forward, depending on which side of the bed you are, and good body mechanics, which means you're going to bend your knees a little bit, and then you're going to get underneath the baby with good straight arms and hands and put your baby up to your shoulder. When we're holding our baby, we want to make sure that we're holding the baby correctly with good posture, and you want the forearm to be resting on the baby's bottom with the hand kind of relaxed to the side, maybe in a little light fist, or you can put the hand resting in the other elbow. What you don't want to be doing is placing the hand at the bottom where you have your wrist in flexion and your thumbs kind of up, and that puts a lot of strain on your wrist. So make sure that you're holding the baby with your forearm underneath the baby's bottom and your hand relaxed to the side or resting in the other elbow. But do not hold the baby with your wrist flexed and your thumb up because that's going to put strain on your wrist. And now we're going to walk over to the bed and breastfeed our baby. So, once you get into bed, and you may have some times where your hand may go into awkward positioning, the key is that you're not holding that hand awkward positioning all the time, especially while you're breastfeeding your baby. So once you have the baby in position, and it's very important to have that pillow, extra pillow, so the baby's at the height for the right breastfeeding. Then you can relax this hand and just put it off to the side, either down or to the side, and the other hand can help support the back of the baby. So this elbow, the outside elbow, is the one that's holding the baby head, but the hand should do nothing. It should not be holding the baby's bottom. You do not need to lift the baby or hold the baby in this position. When you do that too long, then you start having problems in your wrist. So change hands, put this hand down, let it relax, and then get comfortable and let the baby do his breastfeeding. Once the baby is finished on one side, of course, you're going to do some burping. So make sure that you, again, hold the baby correctly with that forearm underneath the bottom, and you're going to do the burping. When the burping is finished, you're going to go to the other side. And again, you're going to put that baby on that side, and you may be in a little bit of awkward positioning, but once the baby's there, then you're going to relax this hand and just do nothing with it. So do not hold the baby's bottom. Make sure the hand is staying flat and the other hand is comfortably supporting the back of the baby. And then you'll have your breastfeeding on this side, and then you're going to burp the same way. So there will be many places that you're going to be breastfeeding your baby. It could be a rocking chair, a regular chair, a couch, somewhere in the park. But you want to make sure that you're setting your baby up correctly in all those situations. So right now I'm in a chair and I put my pillow right here. And some people are buying those boppy attachments. And that's okay, but you want to make sure that that boppy is not hanging down. One way you can do that is put your knees higher by putting your feet up on some kind of box or some kind of stool, and that will bring the legs up so the head of the baby will be higher, and then you're not going to have to hold on to the baby. Again, so you're going to just position that baby again correctly so that the hand is down and flat or to the side, and the other hand is supporting. If I put my feet down off of that stool, you can see how the baby it kind of drops. So then you might lift the baby up. So that's why your feet need to be up on something so that you do not have to hold the baby. So when you're on the couch, you want to, again, have the baby as close to you as possible in that same level of your breast. So you have the option of using your table to put your feet up on, and that brings the baby up as well. Again, you're going to put that hand relaxed once the baby's set in, and your hand should be resting comfortably or sideways. Just do not hold the baby up. If your legs are down, you'll see that you are ending up having to hold the baby. You can actually put a second pillow underneath, and that will raise the baby as well, as long as you're not holding the baby while you're breastfeeding. Okay? So you either bend your knees or have two pillows, and this hand does nothing. If you need to use the bottle, or somebody else in your family needs to use the bottle, then you also want to position your baby correctly so that you're up high enough so that you do not have to hold the baby. If you don't have this pillow here, you will hold the baby, and you don't want to hold the baby. You want the baby to be supported on that pillow, and this hand should be resting side. And then when you're holding the bottle, you always want to be holding it underhanded and never overhanded. There goes my elbow out in the air, and I'm putting a lot of strain on my wrist. Some people I've seen hold the baby's bottle this way, and that's not correct either. You want to be always underhanded and feeding the baby so that your elbow's low and you're using that grip with your fingers rather than with your thumb. So if you happen to be at a park or somebody's backyard and you need to breastfeed, all you need is the things that you have with you to help you breastfeed correctly. So you have your baby and you have your stroller. All you need is your diaper bag, or I guess some people now are having backpacks that are diaper bags. And take your blanket and put it on top of your backpack so it's nice and comfortable for your baby. And then make sure that you bring the stroller close enough to you so that you're using two hands correctly to pick up the baby so that you have the baby close to you again. And you can see how it brings it way up close to your breast line so that you position the baby correctly with the correct hand positioning. And then
your stroller can act as a positioning for your feet. So you can actually put your feet up, and that also will help you get better body mechanics for your back, as well as keep your baby up in that same line. So you got your stroller, you got your backpack, and you got your blanket, and you're all set to go.
Here you can see I'm holding the baby correctly. I have my arm close to the baby, where the baby's bottom is sitting right on my arm. My elbow's close to me, my hand's relaxed, and my other hand is holding the back. What you don't want to see is your hand sliding on the back of their bottom where your wrist is flexed and your thumb is extended, because that puts too much strain on your wrist and your thumb, and then your elbow will go out. So that puts a strain also on your neck. So slide your arm forward and let your hand relax, and then just put the other hand on the back and you'll have a good support. Also, this is better balance for your child and your body when you're holding the baby this way. And as the baby gets older and it's a little more of a kind of a young toddler, you will probably hold the baby to your side. And this position is really important, to hold that straight arm here, because the baby's going to be heavier, and that much weight on your wrist is just too much. So just remember, you just slide that arm across, and that'll give you better balance and more secure to hold your baby. When you're sitting with your baby and your baby's facing out, we want to have a nice secure hold with good hand positioning. That means that your hands are nice straight wrist, support the legs, but put the other hand on top, and that gives you a nice secure hold with the baby. What we want to avoid is to have your hand flexed in this position where your wrist is dropped here and your thumb is up. That puts a lot of strain on your hand and your wrist, and it can travel all the way up into your shoulder. So make sure you put your hand straight, have the other hand in front, and you have a nice secure hold on your baby. Now we're going to talk about placing the baby, whether it's in a bouncy chair or a high chair or a stroller or even on the floor. And you want to make sure you have your hands correctly positioned so that you're not straining your arms or your hands. So let's say we have the bouncy chair. You want to make sure you're standing right in front of it. And when you place the baby in the bouncy chair, you're going to be in line with the baby. And that will keep your arms straight. And if you go pick the baby up, the arms are nice and bent at the elbows, and they're nice and straight at the wrist. If you carry the baby over to the high chair, the same thing. You want to put the baby into the high chair where you're facing the high chair. What you don't want to be doing is coming from the side of an object where your arm is going to be around, and you're going to put strain on this part of your arm and to the neck and the shoulder, as well as your wrist. And if you're picking the baby up in this position, there's going to definitely be strain in that arm. So you come up. If you bring the baby over to the bouncy chair again, if you come from the side of the bouncy chair, this arm will be flexed and out. And you don't want to have this arm in an out position. So remember, you want to come from the front, come in and up close to your body, and make sure that you're always facing the baby's face and not from the side. When we start feeding our baby in a high chair, we also want to make sure, like how we were positioning our body to place a baby in a certain place, we want to be in front of the baby as well when we're feeding our baby, so that puts our arm in good position. So you actually want to be facing the baby, and if you're feeding the baby with the bottle, your hand is underhanded as you're feeding the baby. And if you're starting to feed the baby with a spoon, the same thing. You want to be in front of the baby so that your arm's right in front of you and you have good hand position. What you don't want to be doing is being on the side of the baby. When you're at the side of the baby, then your arm's in an awkward position. When you're holding the bottle, your arm's out again, your wrist is dropped, and that's not good for your arm. It's very tiring. You could try being underhanded, but it actually feels a little awkward. So this feels less awkward, but it actually is not correct. If you have a spoon and you're feeding the baby, again, your arm is going to be out when you're feeding the baby, when you're on the outside of the high chair. So remember to be in front. This is the correct way. so that you're always having that arm right in front, no strain, and you're underhandedly holding the bottle. And this is the correct way that you want to be positioning your body and your arm for when you're feeding your baby. When we're changing the baby, we want to use the same principles as we used when we were feeding the baby or placing the baby. We want to be facing the baby square on, and we do not want to be to the side of the baby where you're going to be in an awkward position when you start changing the baby. This may mean that if you're needing to place your baby like on a changing table, you might need to place the baby in a more diagonal position so that you can be square onto the baby's face, so that you can stand in front of the baby as your arms are in line with the baby and your elbows are relaxed. Otherwise, if you have your baby more horizontal on your changing table, you're going to end up having a little bit more awkward positioning with your arm when you change the diaper. So the outside arm is going to be more out, and your wrist is going to be more dropped when you start taking either the diaper off or putting it on. What you do want to do when you're using a changing table especially, is you want to have the baby a little more diagonally so that you can be in front of the baby. If you're on a bed or a floor or a couch, it doesn't matter about diagonal as long as you're in front of the baby. And then as you're changing, your hands are in a neutral plane, and it's easy to use your hands without strain. There's a couple other things I wanted to mention about carrying things so that when you're putting things on your shoulder, it'll help you strain your hands much less. And you could use it for a backpack, a diaper bag, or any kind of grocery bag. It just makes less strain to your wrist. So what you want to be doing is holding the strap of any item that you're going to be using, like a backpack, and put the opposite arm into the strap first. So your right hand will grab the strap and put it on your left shoulder. And then you can put your right hand into the strap. And then you're going to take it off the same way. You take it off the right side, and then you grab it with that same hand. So it frees up the left hand. What you don't want to be doing is grabbing it with the left hand and swinging it onto the same shoulder. That puts a lot of strain onto your thumb, your wrist, and your elbow. And taking it off with the same hand. So to repeat, grab the strap with the opposite hand, put it onto your shoulder, and then you can put the other hand in. And then when you're coming out, you're going to come out with that same right arm, and then take the right hand and pull it off the left side. You can also do it just the opposite. So left hand puts the right shoulder, right hand puts the left shoulder. When you're carrying the baby in a front carrier and you have it on, make sure that once it's on and the baby's in, that you're not holding the baby as well, because that puts a lot of strain on your hands because you're lifting the baby up. Let the carrier do the work so that you are hands-free. That's the whole purpose of a carrier of any sort. There's all different kinds, but make sure that the carrier is doing the carrying and your hands are free. And then you won't have any strain to your hands.
So one of the main activities you're going to be doing with your baby is to carry the baby in their infant car seat. And what you want to be able to do is, number one, have good body mechanics when you are lifting the baby, good back, good knees, but always have your hand in an underhanded position or a neutral position. If your arm is under, that's okay, but you're going to put a lot of stress on the tissues of your forearm. So make sure the other hand is there to help balance out the weight. So underhanded, neutral position, but what you don't want to be doing is holding the car seat with the elbow out and the hand facing down. Always underhanded, close elbows in with two hands. You can also hold the baby carriage this way, so the car seat can be held underhanded. And then you can also put it into your stroller, and then it's hands-free. So as much as you can do hands-free, the better. Then you can be pushing the stroller with the car seat in the stroller, and then you're not carrying the stroller. So now we're going to put the car seat into the car. Now if you have the car seat handle up, you can grab it from that handle with a nice position, or if the handle is down, you want to make sure that you're using that palm position to bring it down. You don't want to use your thumb. Keep the palm doing the work, because that will keep your wrist straight. And then you can get underneath using good body mechanics to bring the car seat into the car. Make sure when you place it into the car seat is facing you, the baby's facing you, and then you can put it into the base of your car seat. So now we have the car seat inside the car. And when you have your car seat put in on the right side of your car, then you're going to be leading with the right hand. When you have it on the left side of the car, you're going to be leading with your left hand when you put it into the base. So right now I'm in the right side. So as I come in, I'm going to have good body mechanics with my right hand being the lead, and the left hand is going to be the kind of the support. As you lift it, and then you place it into your base so that you're all hooked in. If it's the left side, it would be just the opposite. And once the baby's all set up, then you're all ready to go. Now we're ready to take the car seat out, so you're just going to reverse that. Once you unhook it from the base, you're going to pull it towards you and try to turn it on the empty part of the seat so that you can bring it closer to you before you bring it out to your stroller or when you carry it. And you can, at this point, start lifting that little handle up. And then again, underhandedly, shifting and lifting, 2 hands. And you're going to lift it correctly, underhanded, 2-handed, and then if your stroller is right there, underhanded again and place it into your stroller and get it ready. And then to get this out of the way, again, make your palms of your hand do the opening and not the thumbs. Okay, no thumbs, palms. Okay? And that's how you get the car seat out of your car and into your stroller. So this is an item that I recommend, especially if you're having any thumb issues, that'll help you get your buckle unbuckled in any car seat. It's a handy little tool, and you can leave it right into your car seat if you want, or in your car. It looks like this. It was designed by an occupational therapist who had bad thumbs. And it really is very helpful to get your child out of here without as much pressure with your thumb. You just put the pressure on there and it just automatically pops this out. It makes it very easy and you don't have to strain your thumb. So it's called an Unbuckle Me, and you can get it on Amazon or from the unbucklemE.com. Highly recommend it. So once you have the baby in the stroller, you want to make sure that you're pushing your stroller correctly. So most people hold the center of the stroller, and I want you to be holding the side of the stroller because that keeps your elbows in and your posture better. And your thumbs are going to be more on top of your index finger rather than underneath the bar. So side holding, thumb on top of the index finger, and then as you walk, you're pushing from the side of the stroller, not the front. The front gives you bad posture. The side actually corrects your posture, and it takes the strain off your thumbs as well. Keeps your wrists nice and neutral. So this is correct, and this is incorrect. Correct and incorrect. Now we're going to take the stroller and we need to go off the side. So you want to make sure that you're turning your stroller. You're going to go backwards, not forwards. And you're going to go underhanded as you bring the stroller down. Okay, that's correct. What's incorrect is putting your hand in the overhanded position and trying to lift it like this. This is incorrect. Always be underhanded. Correct and incorrect. Okay? And that's how you use your stroller correctly. So once the baby's in the car and all set up, you're going to take your stroller and collapse it and put it in the back of your car. So this one is small and it collapses pretty nicely. So make sure that it's all ready to position so that it's not falling apart when you put it into the car. So every stroller is a little different, but make sure you collapse it in a way that you can pick it up correctly. So make sure that you're using good body mechanics to pick up your stroller, and you're going to lift it underhanded or neutral positioning, keeping your elbows very close to you as you lift it close to you, and you put it in your trunk. And once you're ready to take it out again, same thing. You get underhanded and make sure that you have the elbows close to you, and you put it down with good body mechanics. So what you don't want to do is pick something up like this and put it into the trunk awkwardly. And same thing when you bring it out. If you're picking it up awkwardly, that's incorrect. You don't want your elbows out, you want your elbows in. Incorrect, correct.
Being a mother is so much joy, but if you're having pain in your hand, wrist, elbow, shoulder, or even in your back, that's going to take away from that joy. So remember the principles that I talked about when you're caring for your baby, no matter how old they may be. What you want to avoid is having your hand dropped in a flex position with your elbow out, which is going to cause the strain in your hand and your elbow and your shoulder and your neck. What you do want to remember is keep that elbow close to you, neutral hand, which is palm in the center or slightly up. Relax your thumb and really keep your upper arms close to your body to hold your baby or anything you're going to do with your baby, including moving furniture or any other activity that you're going to be doing. Have fun with your new baby.